Hi and welcome back to Rad Riders. Today we're going to be tackling the roof lining on the motorcycle carrying camper conversion. I decided to go for the plywood. Initially I thought I'll buy the plywood and I will cut it out myself, but that is such a faff getting around all the corners and the indentations. I am going to carpet it. At first I was just going to paint it in like a cream colour, but I don't think that's going to look too nice. So I've gone for a lighter grey carpet. I've got the anthracite walls and I've got a grey flooring. So here's the plywood ceiling. And as I mentioned before, it is pre-cut, millimetre perfect. So not only have they cut out the sections for the internal lights, but they're also cut out for the studs that connect it to the roof lining. Same on the other. The pre-cut, so you can just line them up with the special forward connectors, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to trim off literally about 3mm off all of the edges. So I'm going to get the jigsaw out and do that. Then I shall cover it with the grey carpet. Okay, so I'm just going to take off about 3mm. It's not a lot, it's just enough for the carpet to fit. Just a tiny amount. It's just where the carpet's going to fold over. That's one done. Job done. Now for panel 2. It's a bigger panel, but pretty much same again. Now, even though you won't see the edges, I know they're there. I'm just going to finish it off with some coarse sandpaper, just to tidy the edges. And of course, it's got to reduce splinters. Okay. Just make sure it's all dust free. And now for the carpet. As I mentioned before on a previous video, there's two sides to this carpet. One's rough and one's very smooth. It's the rough side that you glue, and the smooth side is the side you see. So I've already cut these out to shape. I basically just laid it flat on the table and cut around it. And once you're happy with that, it's time to stick down. Not forgetting the mask. Even though we're outside, you can't be too careful with these vapours. The glue's been inside, it's room temperature, it goes on much easier. And then peel back half of it, as on the other panels that I did on a previous video. A light bond on the ply. Let that go tacky. Once that's tacky, we spray the carpet and apply. Starting from the middle and working your way out. Now I don't spray the edges because I don't want them sticking to the table or whatever surface you're on. So I spray, leaving about 3 inches to the end, just enough to adhere the carpet and the glue to the board. But I'll put the edges, I'll glue the edges when I turn it over and do the other side. Once you're happy with that side, move on to the second bit. Exactly the same process, fold it over. Wait for that to get tacky. And on the previous section, start right in the middle. And then brush outwards. Working quickly, making sure you've not got any air bubbles or ripples in there. Okay, let that dry, we'll flip it over and do the edges. Okay, that's plenty of time to dry. So now we flip it over. Need to cut off any excess. Okay, so we fold it over, and once we're happy with it, we stretched out any excess. We can apply pressure with the thumbs. Sometimes we have to make little pleats and then just trim off the excess and push down so it's nice and flat. Just going around these edges, I say make little pleats and then trim them off. I say you won't see them, but especially on these intricate bits here, we cut 2 slits in and then made a pleat here and a pleat here and just cut it off. Okay, that's finished panel. So all the edges nice and neat. Flip it over. Make sure there's no lumps and bumps, and you can feel it better than you can see it, so feel that there's no air bubbles in there, because we've all seen roof linings when they fall down and sag. You get plenty of glue. I put more glue on this than I have on all the other panels because it's going to be higher. Remembering to put the rough side down. Yep. Starting from the middle, working your way outwards. If you started from the ends and then tried to work your way through to the middle, this thing sticks and goes off very, very quickly, and it would be hard to peel back. See? So go with a method that works for you. I've got a friend, Dave, Doncaster Dave, and he uses a brush to do this, and he swears by it. But this is the way I've always done it, and this is the way that it's worked for me. So I'm not going to change it for now. Let that dry. When that's dry, flip it over and trim off the excess. I use the flat of my palm to make sure it's stuck down properly. So stretch it over first and then just run the flat of your palm across and make sure it's stuck. And then I also feel underneath, have I not got any little bunches under there. If you're not overconfident or you haven't done this before, rather than just sticking it down like I do and then making your pleats so you don't get the glue stuck everywhere, you can make your pleat first, then trim it, and then fold it back and glue it. Just going to get a sharp blade now and cut these sections out for the internal lights. And when you're cutting these sections out, use a piece of board underneath. One, it doesn't go through your other half's table, and two, it's just easier to cut. And I go diagonally. There we go. And that's it. Glue and stick down and repeat for the other one. It's important to pull these very tight because it's going to be a tight fit. I have taken about 3mm off to allow for the carpet and to slip over the light. But without leaving huge gaps either. Now for the other one. And then flip over. Job done. I've got the panels inside. It's dark now. Took me about 2 and a bit hours to cut round and then stick the carpet on. I've also now had to make the holes for the fasteners to go and also drill some holes for where my spotlights are going to go. And as you can see, I've just poked through a screwdriver there, and then at the back I've just taken a bit of carpet off so it fits flusher to the fittings and we get a nice even flush fit to the metalwork. We're using these fixings and basically we push those in. It's a two-man job. It's not because it's heavy, it's basically because it's awkward. So I'm going to push all these in, fit them home, and then once I'm about to line it up, I slide in the middle section like so, push it tight to the metalwork and then push in, and that'll extend this section here and hold it fast. I've done a dry fit and it fits really nice and snug. The rest I've measured up and marked. I'm going to put 8 spotlights in there. So I've measured those and I've cut those and drilled those. Bearing in mind, if you're trying to drill through the carpet, it just tangles it all up and then just rips it apart. So cut little sections out or make sure that you pre-drill those before. And when you're pre-drilling those, you need to make sure that the hole is big enough for this to fit through, which it does. So basically, I'm going to line up the spotlights, screw those in position. Spotlights are pretty easy to fit. They come in a pack with a wire already built in, and we just need to undo this section here, this cable tie, then thread the connector through, like so. Unscrew this section, remove this. If it wasn't carpet, I would just use the 3M sticky and just stick that pad to wherever it needs to be, and it's strong enough to hold. So if you're fitting it on cabinets, you would just use that. But I'm going to use these screws provided through the holes. Put in the centre section and then screw back on. There we go. There's one. And there's one I did earlier. Another 6 to fit. Temporarily wired in and fitted to spotlights. Just bunched up at the back and connected to test. Fired up to the old Bluetti. And the remote control is on. We also have 100% brightness, 50% brightness, 25, and then you can adjust the brightness even higher than that or lower than that. And then if you want the disco mode, and back to light. There we go. So the next job is to get these panels in and get it all nice and tidy. That'll be the next video. I hope you join me for that one. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see, please give us a big thumbs up. If you've got any comments, drop them down below. I answer all my comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It's completely free. I'm Mick, you've been watching Rad Riders, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.